Previously on Three Beers Deep.
All right, all you cucks and fucks. It's the math video. No. This is gonna be the video that we're gonna do. It's all about points. Who gives you your points? How those points are accrued.
You guys, I'm like really smart now. You don't even know.
And shit like that. It's not gonna be the most exciting video, but it probably is the most important one. So you understand, like, you know, why some players have more emphasis than others, why some players get different points for some things because of, like, you know, their positions and shit like that. So we're gonna do all that bullshit. Yes, you're gonna see me in two different shirts. I recorded this shit yesterday because I was feeling spunky. So yeah, enjoy the video. The rest of them will either come out sometime this weekend or next week, and we'll go through everything else as far as fantasy football is concerned. So I don't know. I'll see you guys in class. Thanks for watching. This is Three Beers Deep. I'm Chaz Winters. Peace.
Fantasy football is my religion.
Alrighty, guys. So if you didn't listen to the intro, and you didn't watch syllabus video, I'm gonna reiterate this. I'm gonna say you're not starting off the course well, and I don't know if you're gonna pass the final. I'll be honest. I don't know, but we're gonna find out.
What is okay, boomer?
Thank you.
So as far as everything we're gonna go for is talking like scoring, drafting, managing, all that shit. It's all gonna be based on a 10-person standard league. So we're gonna go through how the scoring is in my league, which is, I think, pretty much common practice across the board. There'll be a couple stipulations that we can touch on when we get there, but overall, if you were gonna start, you know, into a fantasy league, like, this is how most of the guys do it. And I realize, like, if you're watching these videos, I get it. There's probably some dudes in your office, it's some of your friends. You want to see what the hubbub's about, and you don't want to look like an idiot. Don't worry, I've looked like an idiot for years for you guys, so I had to fucking learn. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start with just QBs and like passing ratings in general, because there'll be like a time every now and again when you have somebody like Jarvis Landry who throws a fucking touchdown to Odell Beckham Jr. on a trick play, and you got to know that even though he's a receiver, that touchdown is going to score different than Odell Beckham Jr.'s, even though he's also a receiver, because you get different points for different things. So QBs is going to be 99% of this, but this is just your passing offensive stats. So in my league, and again, I think this is pretty common practice. I've seen it anywhere either like 4 or 6, but it's for a touchdown. And a touchdown is going to be 4 or 6 points. In my team, the 10-team standard, it's 4 points. You get 1 point for every 25 yards your quarterback throws. Or if you want to know how much just 1 yard gets you and you suck at basic fucking math, every 1 yard that your quarterback throws for gets you 0.04 points. Got it? Basic math, we're good? Alright, cool.
Fuck you.
If your quarterback throws an interception, there's also negative points. So if you got an injury-prone quarterback, even though he can throw dimes all day, if he throws an interception, my league, it's gonna be -1, but I've seen -2 points for an interception as well. So either or, you know, just keep that in mind. Moving on from QB stats, I'm trying to think if I missed anything really. If they lose fumbles, I'm pretty sure they lose points as well. I think it'd make me like another 1 or 2 as well. I think just any turnover in general. But yeah, moving on from the passing stats, you get into rushing and receiving stats, and these add up a little bit differently than your what you would say as your or not as you say as your passing stats. So obviously getting yards and getting touchdowns as a quarterback is much easier than as a receiver or a running back.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Because there's no think about it. The good quarterbacks at 4,500, 5,000 yards, or for a good season. A good running back on a good season is like what 1,500 yards. So you can already kind of see why those yards are a little bit different. So for rushing and receiving, you get 1 point for every 10 yards you get, or 0.1 per yard. Touchdowns, instead of 4 points like in like the quarterbacks in my league, if you get a rushing or a receiving touchdown, that's going to get you 6 points. If you lose a fumble, that's going to get you a -1 point. If you get a 2-point conversion, that gets you 2 points. Now like when you have rushing and receiving, again, they're not specific to the position. So when you think of a Lamar Jackson who runs all over the field, who can also throw the ball and get touchdowns that way, somebody like Lamar Jackson is super valuable in fantasy football because he might have less passing yards than some of the other quarterbacks. Maybe he like averages 280, but Lamar Jackson's also going to get you probably 60 or so rushing yards on average at a higher clip. So whatever he kind of doesn't make up for and his passing, he makes up for with his legs on the ground and points that are worth more, not to mention the touchdowns he runs in, which are worth 2 more than a passing touchdown. The tight games and stuff like that, like every little point like that matters. And so somebody like Lamar Jackson is a very valuable fantasy player, just like a Kyler Murray, a Deshaun Watson, a Justin Herbert to a degree, all very valuable because they're deadly as both passers and rushers. And the same thing again holds true with receivers. So we're gonna go back to the Odell Beckham Jr. Jarvis Landry thing. Jarvis Landry, even though he's a receiver, threw a touchdown. So even though he's not the quarterback, since he threw, he's the passer. So that's why, even though he's a receiver and he throws a touchdown to a receiver, Jarvis Landry is only going to get the 4 or the 0.04 per passing yard, and then the 4 points for the touchdown, versus Odell Beckham Jr. is going to get the 0.1 points per receiving yard, and then 6 points for the touchdown.
That's my quant.
Your what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
That's pretty racist.
Look at his eyes. I'll give you a hint.
So you can kind of see how they start getting scored a little bit differently, even at the same position. It kind of has to do with how you get the yards, not really what position you're playing, to a degree. The position you play is very important when you start drafting and stuff, which again we'll get into later in the series. I want to go down to just kicking real quick. Kickers can make or break you to a degree. It depends on how accurate they are, of course, but also how big their leg is. I mean, if you have a kicker that consistently drills 50-something yard field goals and his team gives him those opportunities, he's going to be able to score a lot of points. So the way kickers score is if they make a kick, again, this is my league, between 0 and 39 yards, they get 3 points. There's 3 standard points for you, but 3 points is a good amount, especially if you have a kicker that maybe has just 5 chip shots in the game. All of a sudden your kicker's got 15 points for you. If they make a kick between 40 and 49 yards, they get 4 points instead of 3. If they make a field goal of 50 plus, it's just 5 points. But again, if you drill 3 5s versus 5 3s, then I mean it's the same amount of points with a lot less effort. So it starts really getting in there to where you want an accurate kicker, but also a kicker that can actually get some distance on it. If your kicker makes a PAT, that's 1 point. A PAT is a point after attempt on the touchdown. I figure if you're doing fantasy football, you probably know that at least. And then you get into defense and special teams. So defense and special teams are just kind of looped in together, and your kicker is not a part of your special teams. Don't ask me why. I think that's a little back-asswards personally, but the kicker is his own thing, so whatever points he gets does not count towards your defense/special teams score, which, again, your defense/special teams is one position on your team. It is kind of lumped them together. If your defense gets a sack, you get a point. Pretty good, especially, you know, with the league paying record money to pass rushers and those guys like that. If your defense/special teams gets a sack, not a sack, excuse me.
Stupid.
If your defense or special teams gets an interception or a fumble recovery, that's 2 points, and that's always nice to have. So, if your defense gets like a pick six, a fumble recovery in the end zone, some shit like that, a touchdown. Pretty much, if your defense scores you a touchdown, that's worth the full 6 points. I just versed Baltimore this past week. They put 26 on my ass because the Bengals just felt like just not playing defense. Or, I mean, not playing offense. They had 3 points the whole game. So, I got absolutely decimated by that defense. It ruined my whole week. Getting back on track. If your defense gets a safety, you also get 2 points. And I don't know if you can see, like, some of this stuff kind of like lines up with like how many points it actually gets the team as well. Like, you know, a chip shot field goal is 3 points, just like it gives the team 3 points. Obviously, adding points for longer because of the difficulty. But same thing with like a failed PAT is worth 2 points. It doesn't matter if it's a kick or a 2-point conversion. It's worth 2 in fantasy. Safety, 2 points on the scoreboard, 2 points in fantasy football as well. For your special teams, if your punt returner or your kick returner returns the kick to the house, that's 6 points for you. It's another 6. So it's a lot to take in. Usually when you're picking your defense and your special teams, you're going more off the defense than you are off the special teams. So keep that in mind as well. And then for your offense, if they shut somebody out, that's 10 points. If the team scores anywhere between, and again, this is my league, 1 to 6 points, then that's 7 points out of your defense. If the team your defense is playing scores 7 to 13 points, then it's only 4 points. If the team your defense is playing is 14 to 20 points, it's 1 point. 21 to 27 points is 0 points. 28 to 34 is negative 1 point. And then if they score 35 plus on your defense, it's negative 4 points. And when I'm saying the other team, I'm not like, I need you guys to know, and it's a little late in this in the series for me to be saying this, but I guess better late than never. You're not playing directly against your opponent. Like, it's your players are just playing their normal games. That's what you're getting the points for. They're just it's almost like a group effort of them doing their own little things. It's not like I'm gonna have, you know, my quarterback going up against the guy I'm playing's defense, unless it's happening in real life. You're only getting points from like the games that are happening in real life. Not like, it's not like you and your like guy that you're playing at fantasy that are running a Madden game against each other. It's more like you guys are having a pissing contest to see whose squad that they assembled is going to do better on their chosen days. Ha! Gay! Alrighty, boys. That's going to be video 2. That should take us through at least like scoring and what the fuck fantasy football kind of is. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and we'll go ahead and start getting into how to draft and stuff like that. It's gonna make or break your season. Until then, I'm your Uncle Chaz. This is 3 Beers Deep, and you guys don't have too much fun without me. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.